Good morning. Captain's Log, Wednesday, March 8th, 2017. In exactly 1 month from today, I'm going to I will, right? There is no try, only do or do not. I will be teaching a class, a paid workshop for the first time, organized completely on my own. It's related to some of the work I've been doing the past couple of years with my meetup group, Learn, Teach, Code, and also helping run Girl Develop It here in Los Angeles and doing some workshops for them as well for affordable tech education for women. Blah, 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 sales pitch. The reason I got out of bed this morning and turned on my camera, even though I feel really awkward right now because it's been a long time since I've published a video blog, the reason I'm doing this is because I need to remind myself of context. I want to share a personal message with myself, and the only reason I'm publishing this or planning to, I might chicken out, I don't know, but if I publish this, the only reason I'm doing so will be because some people have told me it's helpful when I share my raw process with this sort of stuff. When I did my 100 days in a row of video blogs, it was terrifying for me, and I think I learned a lot from it, so I figure I should stop chickening out. I never intended to completely stop doing this and sharing what I'm working on, sharing the process of both learning and my ongoing struggle with anxiety and depression on and off. I don't want to stop talking about it, and for a long time I let myself stop talking about it. So, oh man. So this is a reminder to myself. I want to send a very clear and very raw message to myself to remember, because I'm always forgetting and relearning this lesson that no matter how scared I get, no matter how frustrating things get, no matter how much I think I'm about to fail, I shouldn't stop. I should not stop. I want to capture the frame of mind that I'm in right now because I've had a lot of panic attacks over the last week. The main reason being this idea, and then also I gave a talk at a conference, a big conference for the first time. Not too many people attended my talk, which was kind of a relief, but it felt like a big deal, and I panicked all week thinking about how to update my slides. Long story short, I never did update my slides. I gave the same talk that I gave a year ago, which I think is the last video publicly posted on my YouTube channel. I think it was called Building a Community, the Story of Learn to Code LA, which has now been renamed to Learn, Teach, Code. Anyway, it was a very personal talk where I talked about things like my history of social anxiety and my lack of friends and my mom's cancer and when she passed away, and how that sparked quite a journey for me in realizing I needed friends, and the discomfort of that, I guess, pushed me to, I guess I figured if I survive this, I can survive anything. So I got over some of my other fears and pushed myself to be more social and try to make friends. And that led to going to a lot of meetup groups and then starting my own 2 years ago. That's the gist of the personal side of that talk. Skipping all the details, of course. But in that talk, I say that my main point, if there was anything I wanted the audience to remember, was to just start. And then learn what you're doing. Don't worry about learning everything up front. Don't worry about being ready. You're never going to be completely ready for any scary new project, any ambitious goal that you have that you're not sure if it's going to work out, right? And those are the goals worth pursuing, the ones that scare you and the ones that may or may not work out, right? If it was a sure thing, it wouldn't be as interesting, and you wouldn't learn as much from doing it. So I need to take my own advice. I've done a really bad job of that so far. I have thought about doing paid classes with Learn, Teach, Code potentially for many months, and I thought that it would be a bad thing, that I'd be selling out or something, or that I would disappoint people because it wouldn't be in the spirit of our group, right? It's a communal kind of thing, everybody learning together. We do a lot of casual study groups for people who want to learn programming together. It wouldn't make sense to charge money for that. We just ask for donations once in a while to pay the fee that I have to pay to meetup.com. But little by little, I've been having a lot of conversations with people who... Basically, people have been telling me I should charge money for my time because I work really hard at this. I really enjoy it, but yes, I do still deserve to be paid for the hard work I'm doing. And I'm starting to get to the point where I'm dipping into my savings account enough because I've been saying no to freelance projects and focusing more on making curriculum and teaching and mentoring and doing it all for free. And I'm starting to remember now again that it's not sustainable, that I do have to pay my bills at some point, and I need to find a way to do it. And so I was torn between, do I go and finally try to get that full-time job, get my foot in the door as a junior developer, quit my job in communications and PR, like say a year and a half ago, something like that, in order to become a software engineer, hopefully, because I was really interested in that and passionate. It seemed more interesting and challenging. And then somewhere along the way, I found other interests again and realized just how much I love teaching. And I've always said that my dream job is to, if only I could just get paid to learn new stuff. And I never seriously considered that that could be possible, but now I'm finally seeing maybe it is possible. I mean, crazier things have happened, and in any case, regardless of whether it works out or not, I should at least try, right? If I have an idea and I'm excited about it, and if it scares me and I would learn a lot from trying to do it, I should try to do it. And don't, message, Future Liz, I'm telling you, do not let fear stop you from trying. Don't be afraid of failing. And I'm really afraid of failing. Although I guess maybe I'm even more afraid of succeeding, because the more, and this is already starting to happen, right? I don't want people to expect high things from me. I don't want high expectations. It's too much pressure. With the anxiety issues that I already have, sometimes I wonder if I would even be able to handle it. So the more successes that I have, the more it raises the bar for myself, and the further I have to fall if I do fail. No, when I do fail the next time, it feels like it's going to be more of a big deal and I have more people to disappoint, and it might be even a more public failure the more that I share what I'm doing. And so I'm afraid of both success and failure. In that sense, it's like I can't win, so I guess I may as well just do it, right? This is me trying to give myself a pep talk, because almost every day last week I had a panic attack, and then I gave my talk on Sunday at the Scale Conference, the Southern California Linux Expo, which is it's the largest community-run, so I hear, the largest community-run tech conference in North America. And it's amazing that it's all volunteer-based and the price is incredibly low. I think with the discount code that's always floating around, it's like $45 for 4 days worth of this tech conference. And everyone is so friendly. It's all about open source. Anyway, so I was honored to be there. And my talk went well, like nothing went horribly wrong. I didn't faint or throw up. Nothing weird happened. I got some really good feedback from the people who did attend. But afterwards, I felt so hopeless, drained. I don't know what the right word is. Maybe hopeless is too strong, but I felt this empty, sinking feeling. And then I had a complete meltdown. And it wasn't a panic attack. It was like this wave of sadness, and maybe just upon reflecting on how long it's been since I've really taken my own advice. It's been over a year now since I finished my 100 days of video blogging, and I never intended to quit, but I got swept up in other things, and to be honest, I think I became depressed again. I lost that battle again. And I gave in to my anxiety and let fear run my life for quite a while. Not to say I didn't do anything of value. I've been really busy doing a lot more teaching and public speaking and running this meetup group, and we've built up a leadership team of, I think it's 12 of us now. In just the last few months, it reached some level, some tipping point, and now we have enough momentum that tons of people are reaching out to me to start their own study groups in Los Angeles and Orange County. We have a chapter in Seoul, Korea that my friend Beej started. I mean, it's been really, it feels like we're starting to have a real organization here. And so that's a whole other project that I can talk about later. Maybe I'll do some video blogging about that learning process as well. But what I wanted to focus on today was this more time-sensitive project to start a class. I made some notes to myself on my phone of things that I wanted to make sure I remember for myself and then maybe potentially to talk about right now. So, what did I say? I'm really nervous right now, if it's not obvious. I feel really emotional, and I guess that's why I got out of bed this morning and turned on the camera, because I wanted to capture, this is important data, right? My emotional state right now is something I want to remember. I want to remember that I was super scared and still am, and yet I started this project anyway, and I want to keep going. And so no matter how far I get with it, I know that at any point anxiety or depression or both could come back and stop me, and I want to tell my future self, remember how you feel today, March 8th, 2017, and how you felt the last couple of days, because it will happen again, and you will be able to overcome it again next time. It does not have to stop you in your tracks. It does not mean that I have to give up on this idea, even if it fails horribly, which is okay. The only real failure is if I don't try, right? I sound like a self-help book. So I made some notes to myself about that stuff, and just start. And I wanted to do a quick stand-up meeting with myself. I guess that's how I'll end this video, with that. And yeah, just I wanted to mention, and I think I already did, how crazy it is. It seems too good to be true that I could potentially do something I love, learn new stuff, and share it with people, and also pay my bills at the same time. I never seriously thought that could be possible, but now, because of all these conversations I've had with friends and colleagues, people are telling me that I'm a good enough teacher that I should charge money for it, at least some of the time. And I want to find a way to do it cheap enough that it is as accessible as possible, that it is not about profit, that honestly I do want to directly compete with the programming bootcamps out there that are seriously overpriced. I did some research, and one of them, a few actually, it came out to $65 per student per hour of teaching time. That's a lot. So I want my class to be about around $10 an hour per student. That will still mean I value my time quite well compared to the freelance work that I've already done. Developer rates are pretty good. Actually, I don't know if it's in good taste to talk about money, but I should mention this has been a component of this journey that is really interesting to me, is the fact that I doubled and then again doubled my hourly rate when I made the switch from communications PR person to web developer, and that's even being still a beginner and not knowing what I'm doing. It's really crazy. That's not the reason I got into it. I didn't think I'd be able to charge what I charge and have people not complain at all and be perfectly happy with the results, the websites that I built for them. It's just amazing. The reason I got into it is because it's interesting and more challenging. But I will confirm for people out there, if anyone's wondering, yes, you do make a lot more money too, on average, working in software. It's no joke. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I just want to make enough money to pay my bills every month and free up as much of my time to make free open source curriculum and educational games and in-person events and workshops for people, for this community, and to bring in more different kinds of people into tech. Diversity among gender, race, ethnicity, age, thinking and communication styles, right? Brain types, right? So people who are not neurotypical, probably like me. A lot of people put me somewhere on the, I know it's not a thing anymore, but what was that called? Asperger's syndrome, like somewhere on the autism spectrum. Like I do share a lot of those quirks. I'm just very high functioning. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but anyway, I think all of that is super important to bring in people who think differently, who have different backgrounds, and I want to be part of the solution in some small way, right? Like all millennials, right? I want to make the world a better place. It's a cliche, but that's really what I want to do. And sometimes I think when I get depressed, it's because I don't care about anything, but maybe it's actually because I care too much, and I get so hopeless and frustrated about how I'm only one person with only so few things I can contribute to the world, and look at the amazing things other people are doing, and how could I ever be part of that? How could I ever do something that's not already being done? But I want to find a way to try. And right now, what I see directly in front of me and from feedback of people around me is that I should do more teaching. So I really want to find a way to make that sustainable instead of getting a full-time job or focusing full-time on building up my freelance business. I want to do more teaching. I've been flip-flopping on that decision for many months, and I think I've finally decided. And it's terrifying, but it also is a tremendous relief. I feel really good about that right now, and I wanted to capture the moment to remind myself when I'm no longer as excited in a few weeks from now, or I'm failing or scared again. I want to be able to see this message to myself, to remember why I'm doing it. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm afraid of failure, that I'm afraid of success. I mentioned why I got out of bed this morning and why I'm doing this and why I'm sharing it potentially. I haven't decided yet if I'll publish this, but probably. I don't think I'll even bother editing it. I don't have time. There are more important things to do than spend the whole day looking at myself, clicking buttons in my video editor. I guess the only other thing I wanted to reflect on a bit is I am really seeing a pattern with myself here. I don't think I actually am bipolar, but I would not be surprised if it turned out I am, because I have these intense highs. My highs are very high, my lows are very low, and I have these cycles of intense focus and motivation and really getting out of my comfort zone, right? Like when I did the 100 days in a row video blogging, and when I did my hey, I'm going to learn everything project, and I made those educational videos, and I went all out learning how to do animation and motion graphics and After Effects, and I did all this research and still have behind me, in addition to all the other books I've acquired this past year, I still have this huge stack of math books, and especially books about math and the brain and psychology, and I became obsessed with that. And I wanted to make this huge research project and this whole series of videos and interviews with professors. And I didn't sleep hardly for like a couple of weeks. And then all motivation gone, right? I got caught up with school again. And then I went through a period of depression. And I always go through these cycles of intense productivity and motivation and excitement and not sleeping or eating as much. And then a cycle of sleeping in late, like sleeping 12, 13, 14 hours a night and eating too much, eating cake all the time and ice cream and not being able to get myself to do anything, not being able to get out of bed in the morning. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm laughing at it because in describing it and picturing it all at once, it makes me feel like some kind of cartoon character or something. And it's amazing to me sometimes that I ever get anything done, considering how crazy I am. I am slightly crazy. I guess everybody is in their own way. Anyway, that's enough of self-psychology help here. I'm obviously not qualified to diagnose myself with anything, but it is kind of fun to speculate and just to reflect. And that's what I've been thinking about a lot lately is, am I crazy? And will my craziness stop me from accomplishing my goals? Well, this is me trying to prevent that from happening. Okay, so I wanted to end with a quick stand-up meeting for myself, right? Agile style. Stand-up meeting is where usually literally standing up a team who's working on, well, it doesn't have to be a software project, it can be any kind of project. A team will stand up to keep the meeting as short as possible, answer 3 questions. What did you do yesterday towards the goal of our project? What are you going to do today? And what is an obstacle that you're facing? So yesterday and the couple of days before, what have I done? And the project I'm discussing now is the new class that I'm trying to make happen. So what have I done so far? First, I reached out to my leadership team for Learn, Teach, Code, and I asked them for their blessing because I was worried that they would think I'm selling out, that they would be very angry about me doing a paid class, because so far nobody else has tried to make money off of anything related to our meta group in any way. And I don't want to undermine the hard work they're doing as volunteers. And I want to make sure that everybody feels okay with it. So I put it out there. I don't know if everybody read it, but at least I have not gotten any objections, and several people have encouraged me to do it. They think it's a good idea. So I got the okay, as far as I can tell. Then I reached out to a few venues, and I got a yes from 2 of them, which I'm really excited about, including my top choice. And then I coordinated with that venue and set the date and the time. It's going to be 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. 4 Saturdays in April, starting 1 month from today, April 8th. And in between, I'm also going to plan some virtual study hours and pair programming sessions and one-on-one mentorship kind of things. But it will be 5 hours times 4 Saturdays, 20 hours total in-person teaching time. Then I tried to, this is mostly yesterday, I tried to confirm, let's see my notes here, what is that everything that I did? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And the last thing is that I tried to confirm and decide on the topic. I've torn between doing something safer, something I know better, like front-end web development, an intro-level class, mini part-time bootcamp, whatever I'm going to end up calling it. But I'm less interested in teaching front-end web development because I myself want to get away from it. I'm not that interested in it anymore. I want to learn more about computer science, actually. But I'm not ready to teach a class about computer science. I won't know what I'm doing. A happy middle ground might be another thing that I'm not sure I'm qualified to teach yet, but to do an intro to full-stack JavaScript development, talking about server-side development as well. Maybe even focusing on that, talking about APIs and databases and a little bit about algorithms and asynchronous functions and I don't know, whatever else you need to get familiar with Node.js and start building some more interactive apps that, you know, use persistent data and interact with other services, that sort of thing. Like when you want to build a useful like prototype for a product, using JavaScript, it just happens to be my tool of choice at the moment. But I don't know if I can teach that because I don't know much about it myself yet. I'm still such a beginner, I feel like. But it excites me so much more. It sounds so much more interesting and challenging in a good way that I'm 99% sure I'm going to go with that choice, even at the risk of having angry students who want a refund and think I'm a terrible teacher and might tell the entire world how awful of a teacher I am. I'm just going to make sure I'm very upfront with everybody who signs up for the class and remind them more than once before they pay me that I am still learning this too. I'm not the most qualified teacher, but I do still believe I deserve to be paid for my time, and I do still believe I will help my students learn a lot and have fun doing it and remember a lot of what they've learned and really grow just as a human being in the 4 weeks that we do this class together. I really do believe that. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe I have an ego problem, but that's what I believe. Okay, this stand-up meeting is not really a stand-up meeting anymore. It's still just me talking to myself and having a self-therapy moment here. I guess that's okay. All right, so that was question 1. That's what I've done so far. Question 2, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do next? My main priority, and I guess I should just try to spend the entire day doing this and nothing else, is I need to have a nice, solid first draft of the curriculum, at least an outline of the curriculum, and the application form and the description for the class, because I want to get feedback on it from my leadership team and other friends and colleagues, and I want to get it out there as soon as possible. My target, I think, is the end of this week to announce the class and start letting students sign up for it. And I'm going to do an application process, interview some of them, and pick the 5 or 10, I haven't decided yet, students that seem like they would get the most out of the class and seem like we would work together the best as well. So it's a very subjective process. It's going to take time. I figure if I get it out on the 11th, that gives me 2 weeks to accept students, and then gives the students 2 weeks to either, decide they don't want to do it after all, or if they want to stick with it, it gives them 2 weeks to plan their April calendar, because they are going to have to make a big commitment to this with me. So that's the plan. And question number 3, obstacles. Of course, well, I've been talking about that for the last, I don't know how long. Time goes by much faster when you are public speaking, even if you're just talking to yourself in front of a camera in your kitchen or living room. My kitchen kind of bleeds into my living room. Anyway, rambling, sorry. Obstacle, obviously anxiety and depression. My biggest obstacle is just me, myself. I am always defeating myself. I need to get over that. And so this right here, making this video blog and hopefully making more, maybe not every day, but at least say once or twice a week during this planning process, and hopefully ongoing in the future. I want to keep forcing myself to reflect on where I am and how far I've come and what I'm struggling with, and that it's okay. And 2, remember that process so that the next time it happens, hopefully I'll be better at not giving up. And 3, if anybody else in the world gets anything out of this, even the slightest bit of comfort or inspiration, then that makes me feel great. So I'm just a very selfish person. I'm doing this not to help you, but to help me. But I also want to help you too. Okay, I should actually turn off my camera now.